troll patriarch of Club 88 gently polishes a collection of old wooden belaying pins. These are but a few of the nautical touches that struggle vainly to assert their theme against the club's otherwise glassy neo-punk decor. Back again, eh? Not just another ship passing in the night, eh? You a sailor? Once was, a long time ago, but now I'm forever at port. Sounds like you miss it. Do I not strike you as the king of island nightlife? You look more like you want to bash the house speakers with those pins. At best you're a duke, but I've yet to see you dance. Do we wanna... Is he gonna dance? And you won't. Damn it! So how can I help you? What was it like out on the high seas? Better than when I was younger. Things were simpler then, if not terribly profitable. Got my start on fishing trawlers, just barely scraping by, good folks though. Over the years I made a name for myself, as one does. Got more regular work on better crews, eventually earned a spot on a tugboat. Spent the bulk of my years crewing ocean-going tugs for Wu Sing. The big ships, the tankers, the bulkers, the container ships, the seabed miners, are all run by technical crews and computers now. On the smaller merchant boats there's still a little seafaring left, but not much. But on the tugs, the supply boats, the salvage craft, that's where there's still a space for old-time sailors. It matters if you can wrap a cable on the winch in 30-foot seas, jury-rig a diesel engine, and keep a boat on course with just the wheel and the binnacle. After the bridge windows all blow out, it was a hard life but good. Why the change of occasion? Why does a man give up drinking, or sell his trike, or throw out his porn collection? For a woman, of course. And I had me one hell of a woman. Still do. This place was her dream, a business, a home, for us together. Hard to deny the worst in that, no matter how much I miss what I once had. No sir, no regrets. No regrets at all, alright. Alright, it doesn't take a Shadowrunner's eye to tell you who runs Club 88. Even the toughest of patrons show deference to the troll woman in the back. It also helps that she tends a veritable arsenal of high-grade firearms. Back again, I see. Didn't catch your name before. Didn't catch yours either. I'm SDKC. Ermin Car 5, pleased to meet you. We get a lot of passes through. After their business with the Dogman or the Yellow Lotus, they get escorted here to relax and shop, then they leave. I'm happy to never know their names, but you're a different story, aren't you? What have you heard? Not much, yet. So what can I do for you? Have you heard of a man named Raymond Black? I seem to recall a blurb on the news, but I didn't pay much attention. Not a name I know, and if it was a name worth knowing, I'd know it. Tell me a bit more about this place. Club 88? We bought it 10 years ago. Before that, my husband crewed ships for Wu Sing. He'd be gone for weeks or sometimes months at a time, and I was sick of it. Raising two boys on my own? Troll boys? Pah. Wu Xing. We needed something more reliable, and I needed a husband at home, so he retired and we put everything we had saved into this place. The 88 stands for good fortune, and the club's proven worthy of the name. If only some people appreciated that success instead of whining about things that will never be. Alright, I'll leave you be. I mean, there's nothing... It's not too interesting, these people's backstories. I mean, there's content, but not much that's relevant to us. So there's tape on the ground here. So he chucked somebody this far. The tape marks the record. Stephen Dynamite loads on the sidewalk while he jerks less as he moves. His skin has taken on a grey hue and his chest heaves with each laboured breath. His sunken eyes swivel towards you. He wets his parched lips and addresses you. Hello, I'm relieved to see you. Thought you might not return. Can't trust anyone. This is a bad place. Hey Steve, I hate to say it, but you're not looking so hot. Fat tears begin to cascade down his dirty, ruined face. I don't want to sleep because of the nightmares. I'm ravenous, so ravenous, but food makes me ill. I've got the shakes real bad too. I just want this to end. Do you want me to end you? I can do that. The junkie slumps in place, furrowing his brow. He responds with difficulty. Anyways, thanks for talking to that little bastard for me. So you got my money? You don't have the option to not give it to him. You can't the game only gives you one option. You have to give him the drugs. Lee didn't have your money. He gave me this to pass off to you instead. The junkie's eyes light up at the sight of the packet from Hanson Lee. Oh ho! Just to warn you, it's the exact same stuff that you thought was poison. Maybe kicking the habit would be a better idea. It's practically ruined you, man. I'm thinking that you might be better off if I held on to it for you. Just to warn you, it's the exact same stuff that you thought was poison. Maybe kicking the habit. You know what? I'm just gonna. The man waves his hand dismissively. I must have been delirious or high at the time. Give it to me. Are you sure? This is a terrible idea. You're messed up bad enough as it is. Yeah, I'm just gonna tell him what a bad idea it is. The junkie indicates the holes in his clothing and the bruises and scars on his body. Can't get any worse. Hand that packet over. Strength 5. I can't let you do this to yourself. You take another hit, I'm gonna hit you. Got it? Alright, so you can just punch him, send him. Item Bliss, hand over the drugs, it's your funeral. Alright, I'm just not gonna give it to him. Sorry Steve, I decided to keep the drugs for myself. The junkie narrows his eyes at you, a hiss escapes his parched lips. Why would I let you do that? That's Lee's gift to me. To thank me for all the running around is the least you could do, because another dose of poison might have you dreaming forever. Because it isn't a gift, it's a trick to keep you hooked, because another dose of poison might have you dreaming forever. The junkie shudders, his wide staring eyes gaze into nothingness and his jaw clenches. The drugs didn't cause the nightmares, I acknowledge that, but I'd do anything to avoid the nightmares. Do drugs make it worse? Yeah, so instead of telling him that I'm helping him, I'm gonna scare him by talking about the dreams. So in the last choice, I chose this one because I wanna remind him how bad the nightmares were. Do drugs make it worse? Yes. Probably. Experimental drugs are probably just as bad an idea in general. I don't know, Steve. Decide quickly, I got places. Nah, yeah, probably. I actually want to say yes to him. I want to tell him, yes, the drugs do make it worse. Because everybody is having dreams. But nobody is as messed up by them as he is, right? Like, we were all streaming the same dream. But it's hitting him a lot harder because of the drugs. I'm gonna say probably. The junkie draws himself up a little straighter. Then keep the packet for yourself as my thanks to you. Alright, so we convinced him not to take the drugs. I will. Now let's talk about these dreams of yours. He looks up at you, suddenly suspicious. You want to ask about my dreams? Why? Because I've been having bad dreams too. Maybe we can get to the bottom of them together. Because some really weird stuff is going down in this town and your story might help shed some light on it. Because I've been having bad dreams too. Maybe we can get to the bottom of them together. He stares you in the eye and his voice drops to a sharp whisper. These aren't like ordinary dreams, they're visions, they're so real. I've put all kinds of substances into my body and I've never experienced anything like that. You were practically raving the last time we talked. Explain your dreams to me again clearly this time. All kinds of substances, huh? Why so many drugs? That's not... I don't care about why he's doing drugs. He nods, though his tongue stumbles and stalls as he speaks. I'm walking through a series of dark, narrow halls. It stinks to high heaven, and I run into more and more people as I move forward. The people are jostling me, but I'm starving. Like I haven't eaten for days. I just want some food, so I press on. I start seeing children in the crowd, children with terrible burns, disfigured faces. All these people are grabbing at me. Oh, it is zombies. It is gonna be zombies. This is a dream of people turning into zombies. This game. He begins to tremble from the head to foot, and his eyes bulge. Then I see teeth all around me. I feel the teeth on me. Bathed in sweat from the effort of speaking, he cradles his head in his arms. Okay, Steve, let's talk about the drugs. You said that you were on a lot of them, right? The junkie gives you a weary smile, more than I can count. I used to get my kicks from explosives. I love blowing up stuff. Seeing glass splintering, solid walls disintegrating, flames licking the sky. Not anymore, now I stick to needles and pills. Oh, Steven Dynamite. Literally blows things up. Hang on, you blew stuff up? I was a bomb maker. I designed a custom ordnance. It was a dream job, plus it was very lucrative. He rubs his thumb and forefinger together, then snaps. Megacorps couldn't get enough of the devices I invented. It was too high on my own ego to wonder what they were up to. What were the Megacorps doing then? They were fueling wars. They often managed to sell to both sides in the conflict. In conflicts all over the world, casualties be damned. Okay, so you... Alright, they were in the weapons trade. That's nothing new. War profiteering is as old as war itself. The junkie's face assumes an ashen hue, and the corners of his mouth pull downward. Yes, war. I thought my bombs were used in wars against militias, mercenaries, and armies. I didn't think of them as people. Okay. But the weapons I developed got used against civilian targets. Oh, that's not very good, is it? The man starts sticking his rubbed fingernails into his palm so hard that tiny crescents of blood stain his palms. I'm from Guizhou, Sichuan. Has taken over much of the province, but pockets of resistance remain. These are big political struggles, actions removed from the lives of ordinary people. Oh, China has split into multiple warring states? Yet the village where I grew up in Guizhou was annihilated. These were tobacco farmers, winemakers, peasants, not military. Tears leaked from the man's eyes, tracing narrow lines down his filthy cheeks. I recognized the distinctive patterns, the traces that were left behind. These were my bombs, used to shatter the landscape of my childhood. Alright. Why would Sichuan bother to bomb a village? To break the spirit of the people. It broke mine. That doesn't actually work. I mean, it doesn't... So... A lot of strategic bombing happened during the Second World War. Like, a lot of Germany got firebombed. Germany tried to bomb London, and then later on a lot of Germany got firebombed. A lot of Japan got firebombed, And by firebomb, I mean like they were just setting cities on fire, and like hundreds of thousands of civilians died. Right, like firebombing civilians, and it never really broke the people. Right, like Germany bombing London, London didn't give up because of that. The Allies, and like the US firebombing Germany, Germany didn't lose because of, I mean, it contributed, I guess, but it didn't really end the war, right? The war just kept going until they ran out of soldiers and tanks and so on. So the bombing the civilians thing, it doesn't actually work. And like, you know, in Iraq and and Afghanistan and all that more recently, I mean, occasionally the Americans would end up bombing civilians. It only made the civilians more angry. It didn't break them, not really. Right? It only convinced more of them to join the resistance. So bombing civilians don't work as well as you might think. Yeah, like it doesn't break people. It kills people, but it doesn't break their will. If they don't literally die, it doesn't break their will the way you think it might. Anyway, the junkie's shoulders heave and shake, and he passes a hand over his face. Now I just want to forget. The drugs help sometimes. When your village was bombed, did you lose anyone that you knew? He meets your gaze with red-rimmed eyes. He throws his arms wide. I knew them all, from the frailest elders to the littlest children. My own family died too. We weren't always close. Pyromaniac inventors don't fit in well with agricultural backwaters, but they were my own kin. Okay, Steve, I think I'm getting what's going on here. I guess that I must be feeling guilty about the bombs, huh? All of the blood on my hands. I can feel it all the time. I just like bombs. I didn't want anyone to get hurt. He clutches his face, sobbing. Huh. Well, it messed him up. I'm not sure it helps Sichuan in the war though. How am I ever gonna make this go away? How will I live with myself? The drugs help me forget, but he shakes his head, a look of utter hopelessness on his face. Do something to undo the harm you've done. I don't know, use your imagination, man. Well, you can start by helping some kids, or stealing your bomb schematics back. For starters, you can stop wallowing in self-pity, that'd probably help. Give me your new year and you feel lighter without it. You can start by helping some kids, stealing your bomb schematics back. Helping kids, stealing my... The junkie sways mutely in place, gnawing on his chapped lower lip. I wouldn't know where to begin. Need time to think. You could show those megacorps that they can't use you. Plot your revenge. That's gonna get him killed. Children of the future. Find a charitable organization and put in some hours for starters. If I were you, I'd get the hell out of here. Go someplace calm. I don't know if we should tell the junkie to interact with children though. You could show those megacorps that they can't use you. Plot your revenge. If revenge is not gonna fix anything. Even if you like take your bomb schematics back, I'm sure they've got more they've got other bombs. There are more ways to kill people than just your specific bombs. Alright, I'm gonna tell them to interact with children. The man lowers himself into a squat and hugs his knees, his gaze somewhat absent and his cheeks glazed with tears. There are a couple of shelters where I used to crash when I was less down and out than I am now. There were lots of families I could help out. The man pauses, licking his lips, his mouth feeling for the right words. But in the end, I probably need to go home to Kuaishao when I can bring myself to. I'll tell you what, I'll think about it. He nods eagerly. I'll think real hard. Alright, I guess that's the best I can hope for. Best of luck, Steve. Thanks. You're welcome! I mean, that's if he just does. He might just die. uh, like, getting out of a serious addiction is actually not that easy, because when you're addicted, like, it changes your brain. Addiction changes your brain. He might just die. Like, if you're doing some serious drugs and you just go cold turkey, sometimes your body just dies. Like, you just can't do it. So, if I don't know, you probably don't do drugs, but if you do drugs and if you're thinking about quitting, like, talk to a doctor, talk to a medical professional, because it's not as simple as just stopping. Sometimes if you just stop, you literally die, because your body can't adjust, right? So, yeah, no, just go see a doctor. Don't try to do it yourself.